Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
I'm Cooper Burke here for Combat Sports UK with Michael, the Texas kid, Aswell. Michael, how are you?
Doing great, man. Feeling great. Feeling ready to go.
Yeah. How's your headspace going into this fight this Sunday at Fury?
Headspace is as clear as ever. Just, like any other fight. This is what I do. This is what I love to do. And I'm excited to go fight in front of my friends and my family in Houston. So, headspace is wonderful. It's good.
Yeah. Do you think fighting back in Houston is going to kind of help you turn the page and get even more focused on this fight?
I think just having a scheduled fight is something that is allows me to stay focused, to stay on track, and when you're waiting around hoping for a fight, hoping to get a call, you kind of like lose focus a little bit. You're like, oh, they're never gonna call me, I'll be okay. But knowing you have a fight scheduled, it kind of gets you locked in, like, hey, I got to fight, I got to get ready, I got to stay on track, and I got to make sure that I'm taking every precaution possible to make sure that I'm ready.
Yeah, certainly. You're fighting a guy, Dorian Ramos, who's kind of been everywhere. He was on the Contender series, he was on Fury, he was on Combate Global, Uriah Faber's A1 Combat, LFA. So what does he do well that you've kind of figured out that you need to watch out for in this fight?
He's just a all around well fighter. He strikes to takedowns to strikes. So, he's very versatile in what he does. And like you said, he's fought everywhere, so he's got the experience. He doesn't mind, fighting where he needs to fight. So he's a game opponent at the end of the day. So I just need to make sure that I stick to my game plan, I stick to what I do best, and that'll lead me to the victory.
Yeah, I was like, watching your fights, we really noticed like a lot of what you do best is obviously the wrestling, but you've really picked up a lot of feints and boxing. And how do you think that's going to cause a problem for him come Sunday?
Yeah, I think just me implementing my pace and my timing and my range, I think my pressure, is hard to deal with a lot. So I think if I just mix in my wrestling, maybe with my strikes and my feints and, just be a full mixed martial artist, I think it's going to get the job done for me.
Yeah, certainly. Is that something your coaches have kind of tried to push, during the fight, like getting you to expand what you're throwing different things at opponents as opposed to just sticking to one thing at a time?
100%. At the end of the day, this is MMA. This is not just boxing. This is not just kickboxing. It's not just jiu-jitsu. So if we can, utilize everything, that's ideal, right? We don't want to just have to, be in a striking battle and have to take unnecessary damage. If we see opportunities to, grapple, let's grapple. If there's opportunities to strike, then we strike. And, just being able to mix it all in together, I think will be beneficial for me, just not, now, but in the future, in the long term.
Yeah, certainly. Speaking of striking battle, your last fight was Contender Series fight with Bogdan Grad is an absolute war. It didn't come out your way, much to the disagreement of a lot of people. I mean, Daniel Cormier had it scored your way, opposed to all these people. So is there a little bit of extra motivation for you this weekend to prove that those judges made the wrong decision?
Not necessarily that the judges made the wrong decision. I think this is just more of a fight to make a statement and just to show that I deserve to be in the next level. That the local scene is just I'm levels above it at this point, and just to prove to the world who I am. And they know who I am after watching that last fight, but just to make sure that the UFC knows what they're getting with me. Right, I made a good impression with them at the Contender Series. They really liked me a lot. They had a lot of good things to say, but this fight is really just going to put a stamp on it and be like, you should have called me already, right? I should have already been, there, but that's okay. Like, I don't mind fighting because I love to fight. So this is just going to put a stamp on, hey, I deserve to be there, and this is why I deserve to be here. Actions speak a lot louder than words.
Yeah. Looking back to that fight, was it your coach's plan for you to throw in those feints after you established that 1-2 so well that, even the broadcast was talking about it? Or was it kind of like a spur of the moment decision that you came up with to try and do well in that fight?
No, 100%. Feinting Bogdan was part of the whole plan. We wanted to draw out his strikes. He throws a lot of big shots. We wanted to draw him out, slip him, and counter from there. I probably should have put some better combinations together instead of just putting the 1-2. But just in the heat of the moment, you're just kind of just throwing what feels natural, what feels good, and I probably could have loosened up a little bit, maybe throw a couple of different strikes. Of course, in the third round and stuff, I started going to the body, and we found a lot more success, almost getting him out of there in the third. So as long as I could just utilize every part of my game, I can utilize all the combinations that I throw, even throw some more kicks, some more, and then I can mix my feints in with my takedowns and my wrestling, and it all sync together.
Yeah. Um, I mean, like you said, you kind of dug deep and stepped on the gas in the third round. Was it from something that your coaches told you in the corner?
Of course, they just pulled me to the side. My coach Daniel was like, I thought you had the best cardio in the world. You look tired. Are you tired? Like go get that contract. Like go get it right now. This is the time. This is it. This is all you got. 5 minutes. So my game is my cardio is one of the best parts of my game. So I'm able to utilize when I need to. And the third round, I really had to pull it out. I had to pull out all the stops. Unfortunately, the judges didn't feel that I did enough, or I guess one judge had a 30-27. I guess he didn't feel I won the third round, but I put my foot on the gas and I try to get him out of there, as best I can, so I didn't have to go to decision.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like you said, you put your foot on the gas, but you also handled a lot of adversity, um, which they mentioned is like sometimes fighters get their first real taste of adversity after graduating from the regionals. But how do you feel like you handled the adversity in that fight?
Um, I mean, I didn't really feel like I was ever in too much danger in that fight. I felt like I probably dealt with more adversity in other fights and stuff. So, I mean, it felt natural. Like everything felt good. I felt comfortable in there. I felt good in there. I never felt that I was never wobbled or hurt. I mean, I guess the cut, but I didn't even really know I was cut. So, um, I think overall, looking back, there's definitely a lot more I can improve on and get better at. But I think I did, fairly well in the fight. And, I'm just excited to go fight this weekend. And, like I said, make a statement.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was the biggest lesson that you took away from that fight? It was really close. It was fight of the night. I mean, you basically set the entire mixed martial arts world on fire. Um, so like what was something that you walked out of the cage learning?
Learn not to go to decision. Don't leave the fight in the hands of the judges. And that's something that we talk about a lot at 4 ounce. At our gym, is that we can't go to decision. If you look at our head coach Daniel Pineda, he's never won a decision. All of his finishes are submissions or KOs. So you just never know with these judges, and the judging system's so weird. Especially in MMA, we have a boxing judging system for an MMA fight. So they're a little loose on how they judge, what they judge, the criteria of judging. So at the end of the day, we got to go and finish fights, and that's what people want to see. People want to see finishes. So got to give the people what they want. You got to give the UFC what they're looking for. So I need to go finish fights.
Yeah, absolutely. How did your coaches, obviously Coach Pineda and the rest of the team at 4 ounce, how did they um, react after that fight to try and keep your spirits up? What did they tell you?
Nothing. I mean, they Pineda, my coach Chico. I mean, all my coaches, they've been in the game. They understand like this part of the game. Daniel has almost he has like 18 losses or something. So like it's part of the game. We're gonna lose. Like there's nothing they can do. I fought my ass off. I fought well, and I can't be up like I didn't get the decision, but there's nothing to be upset about. I went in there. I got paid. I had fun. I talked to Dana White. Like I had a good experience. There's the spirits weren't down. There was never my spirits have never been down. There, nothing to be down about. It was a great fight. I fought well. I fought hard. I gave it everything I could have gave. And at the end of the day, I didn't get the decision. But I can't sit around and be sad and mad. Like that's not gonna help me or make me help me get to where I need to get to at the end of the day. So all I can do is just keep looking forward and keep fighting, keep grinding, keep getting better. And that's it. They just told me good fight, you did good, and this is why we don't go to decisions. So, it's just, they're real. They keep it real and that's it. There's nothing to nothing to be sad about. There's nothing to be happy about. At the end of the day, I lost a fight in Las Vegas. They paid me to go fight in Las Vegas. Like there's people around the world that are struggling, with real life problems. Like me losing a fight is not a real life problem. Like it sucks. Like I don't like to lose. It's not. I don't like it. It's not cool. But at the end of the day, like I still get to go home with a roof over my head. I get to eat and drink and be with people that I love. So people are, have real more problems than me losing a fight. In front of Dana White. You know.
Yeah. Um, so it's like you said, you get to be around people you love, and um, certainly you were really close with your coach, Saul Solis, and we talked about that for a while, and he's been a big source of your motivation going forward. What do you think that he would tell you in this moment right now?
I think he would just tell me to keep going, just keep staying on the path that we know that we're supposed to be at. There's he always used to tell me that life is the only thing that's gonna get in the way of you, accomplishing your goals and your dreams. He would just tell me to keep fighting, keep grinding, keep getting better, and keep getting in the gym. And I know he's looking down at me. I know he's proud of me, and I know that he just wants me to just keep going. Like this doesn't end. Just because I lost a close decision, it's not the end of my career. It's not good. It's not the downfall of what I'm doing. Like there's still a lot more that I need to accomplish. Clearly, there's a lot more that I need to get better at, and there's more things that I need to do.
Yeah. Um, so because you're going back to Fury, just trying to keep the wheels turning. When they gave you that call, um, was it just like an instant yes? Were you just itching to get back in the octagon once your cut healed up and get back in there?
I mean, I called them. They didn't. They didn't call me. They didn't want me to come back. They said that I should probably wait for the UFC. That I should wait to get a call up. But I just can't sit around and wait. I wanted to be active. I wanted to fight, and I thought I was gonna get called up in November for the MSG card, and I didn't. So it's not on me. It's not on anyone else. So I just knew that if there was another opportunity, I don't know when it would be. If what if I'm sitting around till March or April or May, and then by that point, that's 7, 8 months not fighting, not being in the cage, and that's just something that can't happen for me. I need to be active. If you look at all my fights, or every time I fight, I fight 3 or 4 times a year. That's something that's important to me. I think it's important for growth in the fight game. And I called Fury and I said, "Hey, I want to fight. When's the next time I can fight?" And they were booked, for uh January, and then their next fight after January in Houston wasn't until March. So that just wasn't going to cut it for me. I told them what's as soon as I could fight, and they had the December card open. And then I guess it just worked out that now I'm the main event and stuff. So it's all working out like how it's supposed to, and at the end of the day, God's got a plan, and my story's already written. I just got to go and fulfill what's already there for me.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. So, you're saying that you like fighting every 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Um, so do you say you do a lot of your learning in the cage, um, in an actual fight? Like you're real hands-on with that kind of stuff?
You got to think about it like this, like we train every single day, right? But we're not able to fight in the cage every single day. You don't get to get that experience in that cage. It's so valuable to be in there to understand the feeling of how it feels, right? To be natural, right? So when I went to the Contender Series, I just fought in April. I fought, that was probably a long layoff, right? April to August, but I just fought and I felt comfortable when I got to the Contender. It was like, oh, I've been here before, just another cage, just in a different venue, right? So when we're able to fight, if we are able to fight, we should be able to fight. There's no reason why we should take off a year or months. If I'm healthy, I'm gonna fight. There's so much valuable experience and lessons that you can learn inside the cage. What it feels like, how it feels, moving around, being in that environment. So for me, I think I have to fight. I got to stay active. That's who I am. Everyone's different, right? You know what I'm saying? But for me, I have to be in the cage. I love to fight. Like I love to do what I do. And if I'm able to fight, I should be able to fight and fight for my fans. People are always asking, "When's your next fight? When's your next fight?" And I hate having to be like, I don't know. Whenever they call me, and I just think that there's just a lot that you can learn from being in the cage for sure.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, I think that's your second longest layoff. The Contender Series fight was the second longest layoff you've had in your career, if I remember correctly. Um, but so, after that fight in Vegas, did Dana, Hunter, or Mick Maynard say anything to you that really stood out?
Yeah, Dana came after my fight. I was getting stitched up, and Dana came up to me and he told me that he thought I won the fight, and that that just stay ready. Like, your next fight is gonna be in the UFC, and that he's like, I'm gonna still pay you your money even though you lost. I'm gonna pay you your money to win, and I'm gonna give you a bonus. And yeah, he just told me that it was a hell of a fight, one of the best fights he's ever seen, and he's giving me a bonus. And he had a lot of good things to say about me. Says I deserve to be in the UFC. So hearing that is, I mean, it's what I already knew, but it's nice hearing it from the your potential boss, right? So like I said, I just gotta stay in the course, stay doing what I do, and everything's gonna work out the way it's supposed to work out.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of that, what do you have planned for 2025 going forward? Is there something specifically that really strikes your fancy in the coming months?
I'm worried about Saturday or Sunday. I'm worried about this fight with Ramos, and I feel like once I take care of business on Sunday, then the opportunities for 2025 are endless. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'll say this one: I finish Dorian, then short notice is for sure. I don't think they can pass me up anymore. Like they passed me up at MSG. I think if I'm make a statement on Sunday, then I'm willing to wait a little bit. I'll wait, January, February, March, for an opportunity for a short notice fight, because I feel like that like I said, I made a statement. They know who I am, and I'll be ready. I'll be ready to fight in January if I need to.
Yeah. So I mean, I've noticed that a lot of Fury cards take place on Sundays. Is that something that you're like kind of used to now? Or like, is it different from fighting on any other day of the week, or is it just, a regular day?
I mean, it's what I do. I do this every day. I train every day. I love to fight. My Contender Series is on a Tuesday. If you're used to fight on Fridays, I mean, it doesn't matter the day, right? It's just whatever day it is, we just got to plan around, of course, the weight cut and just what you're doing and making sure you're dieting on the right track. But I mean, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it really doesn't matter to me. Sunday's cool, I guess. Friday's cool. Saturday's cool. I mean, they have it on Sunday, because we're on UFC Fight Pass for Fury, right? So the UFC fights on Saturdays, so they have to be either on Friday or Sunday, and I guess Sunday works good for Fury.
Oh, okay, yeah. Um, yeah, it's like you mentioned you're training all the time. Is there anything new that you've picked up in camp that you've been like, wow, like this is really taking me to the next level, or something that you've um started mixing into your game?
I'm constantly getting better and constantly working on things that I need to improve on. I'm excited to go show that on Sunday. I'm just constantly in the gym, constantly asking questions, constantly trying to get better. And the only way you can do that is to be grinded and be in there. And you know, I think there's always room to improve, and there's always places to get better. So I'm just excited to go to the cage, get inside that cage, and go show what I've been working on, and like I said, go make a statement.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, I mean, do you have a message or anything else you want to pass on before you fight on Sunday?
I just want to say thank you to all my friends and my families, and all my people that support me, love me no matter what. They're gonna pull up to this fight. You already know I'm gonna put on a show. I'm gonna go fight. I'm gonna go do what I do best, and I'm gonna go have some fun doing it. So just want to thank my sponsors too. There's a lot to name, but it's my main ones. Laredo Taqueria, High Tower Brewery, Aces Performance, um, Aswell Fencing Gate. On Point. I just got a new one, On Point Casino. Um, Boosted Drip, IV, the Ritz, the old strip club. Shout out to my boy LJ Performance helping me my strength and conditioning, and my family at Villarco is always, just taking care of me, man. I'm so blessed, and I'm so fortunate to have a lot of good people around me, and Yeah, man, I'm excited to go fight. Like I said, this is what I do. It's what I love to do. So I'm gonna go put on a show. I'm gonna have some fun, and hopefully we get them out quick. So we can get ready and turn around in January.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
Everybody, Michael Aswell fights Dorian Ramos at Fury FC on Sunday in Houston, Texas. Tune in on UFC Fight Pass for a fight that's going to be a great one to watch.
Yes, sir.
Thanks so much, man.
Thank you, brother.